welcome everybody to a very special edition of Blacks in Motion right here at BVN at 8. And as always, it's your sports guy Cliff here giving you the hottest news and sports out there right now. And I'm in downtown San Antonio at the Grand Hyatt Hotel at the PVILCA 2016 Banquet. Now you say, Cliff, that's a mouthful. I know, but I'm going to tell you what the PVIL was and is. The PVIL was an interscholastic league at Prairie View A&M University that housed all of the state championship meets, games during the time where high schools were segregated, which wasn't that long ago. Really from the 1920s all the way up until the 1970s until the UIL took over. But most of us in Texas know about the UIL. But before then, the PVIL hosted all of this great talent in music, sports, and all the different extracurricular activities for students in high school of color. So every year, the Coaches Association for the PVIL puts on a banquet where they recognize some of these great individuals. And behind me, I have a few of the awards and things of that nature, all the kind of stuff on display. And I'm going to tell you right now, for everybody that's in San Antonio, if you don't know about this, that's why Sports Guy Cliff is giving it to you now, so you can know, so you can understand the rich history of the PVIL. And some of these great individuals and athletes came from right here in San Antonio, Texas. As a matter of fact, 3 of the featured athletes are from Wheatley High School. A lot of people don't even know about that right here on the east side of San Antonio. So go ahead and stick with me. I'm going to do some interviews and bring you some of the great individuals, news, and different aspects of this great banquet. Go ahead and stay logged on right here at Blacks in Motion. Welcome everybody to another edition of Blacks in Motion. And again, this is Cliff here at the PVILCA Banquet 2016. And I have with me a distinguished guest right now, Mr. Willie Mitchell. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm doing just fine, fine. So for all the people out there that don't know who you are, go ahead and give me a little background on Mr. Willie Mitchell.
Willie Mitchell is a former professional football player with the Kansas City Chiefs. I happen to be a Super Bowl player. I happen to have played in the first Super Bowl. I happen to have won the 4th Super Bowl.
Okay. Now, that should automatically make you a San Antonio legend. Let the people know where you went to high school and what it was like during that time when you attended high school here in San Antonio.
Well, I went to Phyllis Wheatley High School. It wasn't nothing wrong with it. They talked about a lot of things about prejudiceness and all of that, but when you play in sports, that's not something that really interferes with you. You play sports because you enjoy it, because it's fun for you, and what it does for you as an individual. But for looking at the part of it as being a race thing, you never think about that. Some of the schools all the schools were segregated, but it just happened to where I went to Wheatley High School because I lived on the east side. Right. I could have went to Jefferson, I could have went to any one of those schools. I could have went to Brackenridge, I could have went to Holland, but I lived in an area where it was called Dignity Hill, and it was close to Wheatley High School, so that's where I went to school.
Excellent, excellent. I happen to be an alum of Brackenridge High School. I'm pretty sure you gave them some fits back in the day. So like I said, we're here at the PVILCA Banquet, and they're honoring some of these ex-athletes and giving them the proper recognition. How important do you think that is for history and the history of sports?
I think it's very important for those who they're recognized to say we thank you for what you were able to do and what you did, what contribution you made to the community during that time, and what it has helped them to do to excel to where they have become professionals at what they did. Clarence Whitmore, which was a good friend of mine, and one that they're inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I just think it's great to recognize those athletes and say thank you for what they were able to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So out there, hey, look, I got Willie Mitchell here with me. We're glad to have him. I'm glad to meet him. San Antonio royalty. You better ask somebody, Super Bowl player, Kansas City Chief, professional football player. If you don't know the name Willie Mitchell, now you do now. So thanks for tuning in, and go ahead and stay with us right here at Blacks in Motion.
And thank you.
What's up, everybody? And it's still Sports Guy Cliff here at the PVILCA 2016 Banquet. I have another distinguished guest with me right now, Mr. Cornell Evans. How you doing today, sir?
Just fine. How are you doing?
Doing all right, doing all right. Now, if I understand correctly, you are an alum of Wheatley Heights High School, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead and tell me a little bit about your track and field career there at Wheatley Heights.
Well, track and field, I started out as a quarter miler. I ended up with a hip pointer. And so the Coach Sapner, ended up having me run practice on a half-mile schedule. I did pretty good, so I ended up running a half mile my junior year. But I ended up eventually running a quarter mile my senior year when I ended up being number one in the state. Pulled a muscle, so I didn't run in the state finals. But in '69, when we got invited to the UIL, Wheatley was the first black school to win the state championship in the UIL. And didn't get no recognition, didn't take no pictures, no anything. We just won it. They handed the coach the trophy, and that was it. We ended up had to come down to St. Marcus to have a dinner for ourselves, and that was about it. We had maybe 2 or 3 lines written up in the book that Wheatley won state meet, and that was it.
Okay, now you mentioned that before y'all were a part of the PVIL at Wheatley, and then y'all integrated into the UIL, and some of that recognition wasn't bestowed upon you. So how important is it for a banquet in an event like this?
Oh, this is very important. This is my first time being I am an inductee, and something to get recognition after all of these years later for what we call the Black League back then. This is very important, which I'm vowed to work hard to make sure I stay in it to help others to get the recognition there. Because we had a lot of good athletes that went on to pros, baseball, football, tennis, even in golf, that never got any recognition about it. So this is good that this is bringing up for us to make us feel good, make us feel proud, but it also, to me, helped me to want to help someone else.
Absolutely.
In the future.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're here downtown San Antonio in the Grand Hyatt. I'm a San Antonio native. You are too. Yes. How important do you think this is for the city?
Oh, I think it's very important for the city. This city has long been kind of overlooked because Dallas, Houston kind of outshined San Antonio. Right. So this has helped to bring San Antonio up, and not so for more as athletics, but also just as a city, it helps bring us up that we're being recognized here, and that I just think I'm out of words because I just think it's so good.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Evans, for your time. You got 2 San Antonio natives here representing for San Antonio here at the PVILCA, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care what nobody says, I wouldn't race him right now. I know I'm a little slow. I don't want to. He's state champion. I don't want to do it. But hey, stay tuned in right here at BVN at 8 for Blacks in Motion for more. Thank you. Glad you're staying with us. It's still Sports Guy Cliff at the PVICA Banquet here 2016, and I have another guest with me, also from Phyllis Wheatley High School, Mr. Carr Hartfield. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing just fine. And like I saw you talking to one of your old teammates representing the maroon and gold for Phyllis Wheatley, huh?
Absolutely. I ordered this time.
Oh.
I looked long and hard for it. I wanted to make sure I represented Phyllis Wheatley.
Okay, so tell me about some of your great accolades there in high school.
Well, during the time that I came along, and I'm sure you probably can't relate to that, it was the only predominantly black high school in the city of Houston. And we had a tremendous number of great athletes. I was just one of them. I was fortunate enough to be teamed with a group of guys where we set a world record in 1964. It was Ewell White, L.D. Quinton, myself, and Clyde Glosson. We didn't lose a race at all. We won state, we won district, and any other meet that we went to during the course of that season, and we won.
Okay, now I understand that the PVIL kind of disbanded around 1970, and some of the accolades wasn't always, notified to the public of who won and everything like that. So how important do you think that a banquet like this is, even today, in recognizing some of the great athletes that came through the PVIL?
Well, I'd personally like to thank the guys, the coaches that got together in 1920 to form this organization. Otherwise, people or young men that were competing in athletics at predominantly black schools would not have been recognized.
Right.
Thank goodness that someone saw that, and they did. So as far as importance, I don't know that I can put a number on that.
Right.
It's really great that the people who have organized this that have put it together, have taken the time to ensure that athletes like myself and some of my counterparts are being recognized. Otherwise, we would not have been.
Okay. Now, last question: how important do you think, or what is the vast amount of history that one can gather from the PVIL? Just looking at some of the record books and some of the past flyers and things of that nature, that some of these events in schools and all the things that they put on.
Well, that's a difficult question, and I'm not sure I can put my arms completely around that. But the fact of the matter is that many of the guys that came along during our era were athletes. Let's put it like this. If they were coming along today, they would be the kids that the Division I schools would be going after. We just didn't have the opportunity. We had to go to Prairie View to compete on the state level. We didn't go to Austin. But I can promise you, the times, the athletes, football, basketball, baseball, what they were doing in PVIL, they weren't equal in that in UIL, not during that era.
Okay.
Because there were a lot of great athletes that came through during that time period.
Okay. Well, and obviously you were one of them. I'd like to thank you for your time, and definitely glad that you're here at the PVILCA. And again, go ahead and stay with us, and you get more coming. Blacks in Motion. Glad you're staying with us right here at Blacks in Motion. Again, we're at the PVILCA 2016 downtown San Antonio. I have a very special guest, Mr. Edward Bell. How you doing today, sir?
How you fine, Cliff?
All right. Now, a lot of people might not know, but you was a professional football player. That was one of my dreams, but I didn't quite make it like you. So go ahead and tell me a little bit about your path to the NFL.
Well, my path to the NFL started basically with Carver High School, GW Carver High School. And from there, I had no scholarships from Prairie View or Texas Southern, none of them. So I packed my bags and I went to California, Compton Junior College. And from there, was offered a scholarship to the University of Southern California. Only one problem. O.J. Simpson was on his way to the University of Southern California from San Francisco. Okay. So I said, okay, I ran track and was contacted by the coach and athletic director of Idaho State, who was an Olympian with Jesse Owens. Okay. He said, I see track and field in you. So you will play football if you want to, but I'm bringing you to Idaho State, and we're going to throw you to football. But track and field is what we're here for. So I ended up being a 220-yard champion and led the nation in pass receiving in 1969. And was drafted by the New York Jets at 160 pounds, 5'10", soaking wet.
Okay, that's a very, very interesting path to the NFL, to go all those different ways, different states, different sports, to actually get to the NFL. Tell me, were there any difficulties being an African American in getting to that point?
Absolutely. When I got to Idaho State University, it was like any other university with only a handful of blacks on campus, and the ones that were on campus there, they were all athletes. They were basketball players from Indiana, they were football players from California, and Ed Bell from Texas, and that was it. So we had our teammates oftentimes call our girlfriends nigger lovers. We had that problem. Okay. So one day I took it upon my little self to go and talk to the athletic director and the coach and say, we cannot do this. We cannot stand that. I think if you're going to be that bad, why don't you invite all the black guys here who are on scholarship, invite their girlfriends to come here and finish school so we won't have that problem. Would you believe they opened the door and those girls finished school? Wow. Yeah, at Idaho State University because their boyfriends were athletes and on scholarship there. Okay. So that's the only thing that I did to change things when racism struck us in the face. I had to do something. So you took that responsibility to make a change in your immediate environment. Absolutely.
Tell me how important it was then and now for people to do that, athletes to do that now.
It's great because some of those athletes, after I left, they sort of kind of called me back and let me be aware that those guys are now trying to boycott football games. That's how they took care of it. Okay.
All right. So was there any other experience that maybe, rang so loud to you during your time as a professional player that maybe differed a little bit from your college experience?
I had a good college experience. I had coaches that believed in me and coaches that sort of pushed me forward. When I ended up getting to Idaho State, to the New York Jets from Idaho State, I ended up being the person they sent out to represent the New York Jets. How lucky. Me and Joe DiMaggio, the Joe DiMaggio, baseball player, was the guest of honor to the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, as they merged with the American Airline and Americana Hotels. We were there to just be a guest and answer a lot of questions, pretty much what I'm doing right now. I like to run my mouth occasionally. And so we did that and just enjoyed it. So doors open. And then Pete Rozelle, the commissioner of the National Football League, along with Buddy Young, who was his assistant, made sure that I had a job when season was over. So I worked for the government, running a program called the Business Management Fellowship Program that made sure that I mentored to kids at DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx and all 5 boroughs of New York City. I went around doing that. And today, I'm just happy that I'm able to change somebody's life just from that little impact that I had on them in a positive direction.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you right now, you've impacted my time with you right now, and it makes me seem like I need to get on my horse and start accomplishing some more things in my life so I can be like Mr. Edward Bell. Man, I'd like to thank you for your time and definitely for all of the things that you've done in the community. Where I know we're here in Texas, and you did a lot of your work in New York, but I'm glad that you're here, glad that you're here in San Antonio, that we can host you, and that the PVILCA is recognizing you as one of the greats. I really appreciate that, and I'd like to thank all the people for continuing to stay logged in right here at Blacks in Motion, and stay tuned. I got more people coming for you. Remember, Cliff the Sports Guy, Blacks in Motion. Hey, this is Sports Guy Cliff, still staying in right here at the PVILCA Banquet 2016. And you know what? I think that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed all the different people that I was able to bring to you and show you some of their accomplishments, and also put this banquet on the map. If you didn't know about it, now you do. Right here in San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, it comes here every few years, and I guarantee you at BVN and Blacks in Motion, we'll let you know when it's coming again. But hey, I'm a little pooped, but I'm telling you right now, it was my pleasure interviewing all the different people, all the different athletes, and seeing a lot of the rich history right here from the state of Texas. So hey, check it out. Go ahead and like this video before you leave, and go ahead and leave your comments. And as always, I want to hear from you. Cliff at blackvideonews.com. And always stay logged on and love us right here at Blacks in Motion.